Good morning, folks. A few words on how I got into squash. I feel like sharing, and let me. My brother Adnan Bhai has had a very big influence on me, of course. I have to say, and not just musically, but after God, Adnan Bhai is the one who got me into squash. That's joke side, really, because in 1987, he started playing squash in I think 1984. I started in 86 something or 87. Oh, khair jo bhi. We had an uncle Azmat in Abu Dhabi, and he gave the videotape to my brother Adnan Bhai. Jahangir Jansher Khan semi-final Birmingham World Open, and he brought it home, and just so and destiny, and I just so happy he didn't bring it for me as far as I know. He just got it, and he and I got my hands on it somehow, and I got fascinated by it, and that was a phenomenal match, and it looks so simple. I said, this is simple. They're just walking around. Squash is a very tough game. That's because they've trained for hours and they've trained day and night. That's how it looks so simple. And so Nama is the one, go and get him. No, I'm joking. So I know that match. So I know it backwards. Let me share some commentary from that. There was a guy called Stewart. I think he's still alive. So I even love the commentary in it. And so he would say. Rahmat Khan, who coaches Jahangir Khan, wasn't present when he had his two defeats, and of course he is present over here. And Jansher Khan has been coached by Muhammad Yasin, and so they have a wealth of experience behind them. And Yasin absolutely sure that Jansher will be the next great player, but it's no easy task to beat Jahangir Khan 3 times on the trot, and he's already been made to move about this court quite significantly. And he knows that Jansher has to contain the initial surge of Jahangir Khan. I did not know what the word surge meant. I had to look it up. It means when the storm comes, you have to storm, and when Jahangir Khan comes with his full power in the first game. So Jansher has to contain the initial surge of Jahangir Khan. And then Jahangir Khan hits a crashing drive, so the other guy says, and that's a crashing drive by Jahangir Khan. And he's got that extra bit of power that perhaps Jansher Khan hasn't got. And in this opening period, we should hope to see Jahangir Khan thrashing these drives ferociously. It was a very exciting time. I would wait. I would not read the newspaper. I still don't read it. I hardly do. In the 80s and 87, there was no net. There was no WhatsApp. There was nothing. But I used to wait for the newspaper to come and to find out who won the match. Was it Jahangir? Was it Jansher? And I was like, who is this? I was like 15, 14 years old. I was very enthralled. Who is this Jansher Khan who's come, And thin, slim, skinny, in fact. And he said, I'll beat Jahangir soon. And people said about Jansher, he's a dreamer, he's just talking fantasy. Until the Hong Kong Open happened, and Jansher Khan beat Jahangir, I think 3 straight, I think it was. 3-1 or 3 straight, yeah. And I asked Jansher Khan about that, and I said, were you nervous? Because obviously you're going against the king of squash, and you've given these statements. I'll beat him soon. Were you nervous? He said, no, I wasn't nervous. And Jansher Khan said, my strength came from heaven. I've said it before on the net. He said that to me personally in 2009. My strength came from heaven. It was a very, very exciting time, and that was a fantastic match. Again, semi-final. Jansher Khan beats Jahangir. 3rd time. Score kya tha? 3-9, 9-4, 9-7, 9-7. Jahangir Khan lost by 4 points, literally. He put in the full effort, and because the 3rd and 4th game, he lost 7-9, 7-9. So that makes it 4 points. But those 4 points, that's what makes a champion and not a champion. And of course, Jahangir Khan came back, and it's a long story. But the excitement that, when the Jahangir-Jansher match would happen, whether you're seeing it live on TV or a video, and I also went and saw the 1990 Pakistan Open, and 88, it was like you would go there and you sit there and you take your tent along. I don't mean that literally. Meaning, you would sit there, 2 hours match, 2.5, it could go up to 2 hours. The opening rally would go up, 10 minutes, and maybe, there was that fight, that hunger, that I'm going to knock you out, and the other guys know I'm going to knock you out, Phenomenal. It was a very exciting time, maybe, it had its toll on both players, but it was a very exciting time. And I hope that time comes back. Anyways, I'm drifting apart. But squash is a very exciting game, and thanks to Adnan Bhai after God. He put me into it. Thanks, bro. I love you, and I owe it to you. And yeah, that's it. And last comment, I'll say that Stuart says, I asked Janshi Khan just a couple of days ago what weaknesses he thought that Jahangir had. And he said, I don't think he has any. So he had to play hard and beat him by virtuous, superb play. He's not doing too badly at the moment. Well, anyways, folks, have a nice week ahead. I love you, Janshi Bhai and Jahangir Khan. And may God give them life, health, and may God make everything well in Pakistan squash. And yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.